give me your name and organisation for your question, please. Appreciate it. Okay.
Good afternoon, Ilkay. Ben Ransom from Sky Sports. Your manager at the weekend was full of praise for your performance in that holding role in midfield. I just wondered, how much have you had to learn to play that role, and how much of a challenge has it been? And do you feel now you're kind of getting the hang of playing exactly there?
I think you can always learn when you play a certain position, especially when you play not on your prime or on your main position. Like me, like I do in the last few weeks in that holding midfielder role. I also think the more you play it, the better you feel, the more comfortable you feel by repeating it every 3-4 days in the games. You just get a better feeling for how you have to behave, to be there in the duels. Doesn't matter if it's an aerial one or on a normal duel. So obviously I had to adjust my type of game. But as I said, the more I play this role, the more I feel comfortable. Even though it's still not my main position, but I can play it. I think I've proved it, and if I can help the team by the way I'm playing, I'm more than happy.
We were told at the start of the month that you were still undecided whether you wanted to stay here long term and sign a new contract or not. Can you tell us today if you've made a decision yet?
And there is no decision yet. Otherwise, I would have signed, or I would have rejected a contract. I would say we are still in talks, but I don't feel that there is much pressure. Maybe also because we still compete in all the competitions, and we still want to go as far as possible in everything that we are competing in. So obviously one day there has to be a decision, but I'm very happy at the moment here, and especially about the way we play, about playing under Pep, and that's the main thing now. And then one day there will be, of course, a decision.
Okay, Simon Stone, BBC. You mentioned you're still in for all these trophies. The team's doing well, record points, record goals. Why is there a decision?
Sorry?
Because you've got so much in front of you. This team has so much in front of you. Why do you have a decision to make? Why would anyone not want to be here?
This is something everyone has to decide for herself. I mean, I'm 28 years old now, so obviously my next contract will decide where I will maybe be for the end of my career. So everyone feels different. Maybe someone has an inner feeling in himself to go for a new challenge or to change something. If you see on my Vita, you can read that I'm always open-minded for challenges, but it's a personal situation. I mean, this is something that is not obvious. Everyone, as I said, has to make his own decision, and at the moment, I try to play as good as possible, and I guess latestly after the season, we're gonna sit and we're gonna talk again, latestly. But my main target at the moment is to go for all the competitions and to be successful.
How do you feel about playing in England? Do you think it's a physical league, it's a hard league, you've had injuries. Do you think there may be other places to go that might not be as demanding?
I think in modern football, especially if you have ambitions inside yourself, you have to prove that you can play under this demand, under this number of games, under how intense the game is. So in that case, I think there is not a huge difference between playing here in England or maybe somewhere else, maybe just a number, but our squad is also big enough to rotate, and I think the chance of getting your breaks is also quite high. But I think in the last few years, in the last couple of years, maybe especially after coming here with a big injury, I have proved that I can play here also for more than 2 or 3 years. So that should be any issue at all.
Hello, Ilkay. Ian Irving, Premier League Productions. Given some of the shock results and turnarounds that have been in the competition so far this season, how much of a warning is that to your team, considering you're in a strong position to go through?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Because of the shocks that there's been in the Champions League so far this season, the turnaround with Manchester United, with Ajax as well, how much of a warning is that to yourselves, who are obviously in a good position to go through?
It just shows us that we shouldn't feel too comfortable, especially after the result we had at Schalke. I mean, it's a huge result because in the knockout stages of the Champions League to get such a result away, to win, makes you feel, of course, happy and puts yourself in a comfortable situation. But there's still a game to play, and Schalke just has to score 2 goals here. So we shouldn't feel too comfortable. We should go, as we always do, for our game and obviously for the win. And then I'm sure we're gonna go through this round.
What would it mean to the squad to reach the quarter-finals of the Champions League? Because it's an achievement this club hasn't done much in recent years.
It would show us that we are as good as we were last year in the Champions League. Not less and not more, to be honest. And then we're going to see then there will be a new draw, and then we're going to see who we will compete with. But to be honest, at that point I can't say much about it because we are still not there. And even if we would be there, we wouldn't feel, I don't know, immensely happy or something else, or unhappy, because it wouldn't change anything right now.
Ilkay, when you look at the big teams that have gone out so far in the competition, it feels like it's a really wide open Champions League this year, maybe more so than in recent years. Do you feel like this is a real opportunity for City to finally win the Champions League?
To be honest, I had that feeling already the last 2 or 3 years, and every time Real Madrid won it. So that shows that that nothing is already written. They are out right now, so there will be definitely a new Champions League winner. But still, great teams are competing in this tournament. So obviously, if you want to go until the final and if you want to win it,
this is already a historically good team in English terms. The first team to get 100 points to win the Premier League. Does it need to win? Does City need to win the Champions League to build on what you've created?
If we want to name us the best of Europe, then obviously we have to win it. Yeah, I mean it depends on which are our ambitions. But obviously in terms of how we play, we feel already like we are quite good. Now we have to prove it on results and obviously on going as far as possible also in the Champions League, and that's our target. That's why we play.
Hi, okay, David McDonald from the Daily Mirror. You'll no doubt be aware, excuse me, of the incidents yesterday involving fans running onto the pitch, in one case attacking Jack Grealish and in the other one with Chris Smalling. Have you ever come across anything like that in your career? So obviously not here, but in Germany. And does that make you more concerned for your safety as a player when you see incidents like that?
I'm not really sure, to be honest, if I ever was involved in such a situation. If I was, it was nothing that really happened, to be honest. There was just someone running across the pitch, and the security guys came over, and that was the case. So obviously this can't happen in football, and if it happens like it did yesterday, then the guy has to get a huge ban to be not able to visit stadiums and to watch the games. So I feel really sorry, and maybe it's also a bit of karma that he scored the winner in that game. But I think we all agree that this can't happen in football.
Okay, last couple, okay, please, James, and then
Okay, do you feel this team has got another level or two to go up this season? Do you think you've got another few gears that you can get to, in that people actually really haven't seen the best of you as a side yet this season?
In terms of numbers, I think we already proved that we are better than last season, because we won again the Carabao Cup. We are still in the title race for the Premier League. We are in the knockout stages of the Champions League, and on top of that, we are still in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. So that already shows that we have learned. But nothing is won yet. So obviously now it's just 2.5 or 3 months to go. So it's not really a long time until the season ends. And this upcoming weeks, will be crucial. So we will try.
I just wondered, as a group though, when you talk amongst yourselves as players, whether you feel there is actually, I mean, it's higher standards you've already reached, that you feel actually we can show more, there's actually more from us that people haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you, for me, the biggest plus we have is always the quality that we can get from our bench in every single game. So I think Pep has always to take very difficult decisions. That just shows how much quality it is in the squad. And then it's up to us, to prove that we are ready to compete in all this competitions.
just behind you, James, please.
Hallo Ilkay, Marc vom Sportinformationsdienst. Ich würde gerne question in German, is it okay?
Ja.
Ilkay, du hast es ja sicher auch mitbekommen, Schalke steckt in einer Krise, Heidel ist zurückgetreten, der Trainer steht unter Beobachtung. Wie schätzt du die Situation ein? Macht sie das noch gefährlicher jetzt gerade in der Champions League, wenn ihr gegen sie spielt?
Mit Sicherheit erstmal für Schalke keine schöne Situation, und ich als gebürtiger Gelsenkirchener fühle natürlich auch ein bisschen mit. Ich denke, dass wir im Hinspiel schon gesehen haben, vielleicht auch gerade, weil Schalke überhaupt nichts zu verlieren hat, dass sie sehr, sehr gefährlich sein können. Es lag zum Teil natürlich auch an uns selber, dass wir sie so ins Spiel gebracht haben, und dementsprechend sollten wir gewarnt sein jetzt fürs Rückspiel morgen und sollten versuchen, so wie wir es in den letzten Wochen getan haben, unser Spiel eindrucksvoll durchzuziehen und den Schalkern keine Chance zu lassen. Das wird nicht leicht, weil sie natürlich verdientermaßen auch in dieser Kurvphase stehen. Aber uns sollte das morgen auch egal sein, und wir sollten unseren Stiefel spielen, und dann glaube ich schon, dass wir als Sieger vom Platz gehen werden.
Ich habe noch eine zweite Frage. Du bist ja auch deutscher Nationalspieler. Herr Löw hat eine Entscheidung getroffen und 3 ehemalige Weltmeister aus dem Team genommen. Hat dich das überrascht, oder wie hast du diese Entscheidung aufgenommen?
Es hat mich sehr überrascht, weil ich es nicht erwartet hatte, ehrlich gesagt, und weil auch die Vorzeichen gar nicht so sehr dafür standen. Ich glaube, dass wir sehr dankbar sein können diesen 3 Spielern gegenüber, als DFB, als Land Deutschland, dass wir so tolle Fußballer hatten in den vergangenen Jahren. Das sage ich, weil die Entscheidung natürlich auch, weil es so aussieht, als wenn die Entscheidung auch endgültig ist. Und das sind nach wie vor fantastische Fußballer. Der Bundestrainer hat sich für einen anderen Weg entschieden, was glaube ich okay ist, was vielleicht für die Spieler im ersten Moment enttäuschend ist, nachzuvollziehen. Aber so ist es auch im Fußball. Es werden Entscheidungen getragen. Es gibt Leute, die davon profitieren. Es gibt Leute, die davon nicht profitieren. Aber das müssen wir akzeptieren, sowohl wenn es positiv als auch negativ ist. Und ich glaube, dass die Jungs nach wie vor auf auf Weltklasse-Niveau Fußball spielen werden. Und damit ist, glaube ich, alles dazu gesagt.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Welcome.
Again, guys, if you could give me your name and organisation for your question, please. And show of hands if you like.
Hi Pep, I'm Jamie Jackson from The Guardian. You often talk about, or you have talked in the past about your team being stable, and obviously domestically it's very stable, but in the Champions League, do you have a feeling in every game when your team plays it's stable?
Yeah, in general, yes. We had great results away, where in the past always we had the problems, but in this competition every game is completely different and something special to handle. So it's not a competition like on all another sports. Who deserve more always win. In that competition can happen, but sometimes cannot happen. So the episodic situations take a lot of influence, and you have to try to control it.
And just the scoreline you have now, 3-2, going into this game tomorrow, is it maybe a dangerous scoreline for your side, because Schalke obviously come here knowing they have a chance?
Well, I prefer this score that the last time we went in Anfield, for example, no, that we had to play with 3-0 down. I prefer this score, really, honestly. But you know, it's 90 minutes, and still you have a job to do.
Sorry, Pep, just on that, do you think it will, your team will be asking for trouble if they think they've already got one foot in the next round, if they think the job is almost done? And do you think the Champions League generally is becoming a lot more unpredictable as a tournament now?
We have the tendency, myself as well, so when we see a draw, always say who's going to win, and after the first round, everybody knows who's going to win the second one. And I think 1 week ago we didn't expect the PSG would happen, or for example Real Madrid. So it's not to put examples because every game is completely different, but the approach for the players, when you are, the people say there's nothing to do, so okay, we go there, it's completely different, and one sent off, one red card, one goal in the first minutes. Many things can happen in 90 minutes in this kind of competition and take a lot of influence in the results. So I would say we are quite lucky that we played 23 or 24 minutes, 10 against 11 with 2-1 down. So normally in these circumstances today, you are almost out of this competition. So we were lucky, really. So because we were quite stable, and Leroy making incredible action for the second goal, and after that we scored the third one. But in normal circumstances today, we should make an incredible effort on epic situation to go through. So that's why what happened in the first game can happen in the second one. So that's why don't change too much what we have done, and prepare the game into reading what we need to win the game and go through. That is what is going to happen. But today I'm sitting here thinking still we have job to do, work to do. That is my feeling today.
Pep, Simon Stone, BBC. The incidents that happened at the weekend at Birmingham and Arsenal and in Scotland, does that make you concerned for your players and your players' safety?
It's not about my players, it's the players in general.
Well,
so hopefully it cannot happen again. Maybe it's a problem with the society, not just in the football event. And of course the people who is involved with it, I know it is just regarding for Birmingham in that case or Arsenal in that case, of course, can happen here. Today it's not walls, it's not, you can happen, it's just to work from the beginning, to work about the culture, to what a better human beings, to avoid these kind of things.
is it a concern for, not specifically you, but for managers, that the work that you do can be undermined by one person running on a football field and do that? Because people talk about stadiums being closed and fines and bans from competitions?
But I think that is a question for one person. I think Birmingham is not guilty for anything about that. So if a person is guilty of that, it's the person he did that, not the club. So sometimes we misunderstand really where we have to put the focus. And I think the clubs, they try everybody, but you cannot control absolutely anything. We cannot control the behaviors for the people on the street, for many things, for the, I think it's the guy, he did that, is the man responsible for that.
Hey Pep, Jack going for the Mail. How much has Raheem Sterling improved over the last 2.5 years from the player that you got at the start and who you've got now?
You make a lot of times these kind of questions. I would say thanks for me, but believe me, I don't believe that. It's all the credit is for him.
No, but in terms of how much has he improved himself?
Myself?
No, himself. How much has he done for himself over the last 2 years?
It's a question for him. I don't know. Hopefully a lot. Hopefully. But it's a question for him. So really, I don't know. All of the people we are here working with the players try to help them. Sometimes realize right now, sometimes it's happened, sometimes not, sometimes they realize in next 10 years, I don't know. So we try to do our best. But it's always the same. It depends of their own qualities and the effort they put. So at the end, we overestimated what the managers we have. And at the end, it's less than we expect. Always we can do the same line all together. That is only we can do. We have to. But at the end, all the credit, the praise, the good performance depends of themselves.
And for you, what do you think he needed to do more in the first half on Saturday?
They didn't follow his fullback 2 times, and they have to follow him. The second time they drop him, so he continued, and after he forgot it. He lost 2 or 3 or 4 balls when he has to avoid it because he consider counterattacks. And many simple things. So of course I'm so glad what he has done in terms of score 3 goals. So it's perfect. I would like to play the first half he played, and score the second half the 3 goals. I was the happiest man in the world. But I think it's good for myself too, to feel that we can do better. And I feel the first half was not the best performance Raheem has done this season, and that's why I told him, and that's why we work on that.
Pep.
Hello.
84 Beauty. Pep, hi, Dave McDonald from the Daily Mirror. Your predecessors here, Mancini and Pellegrini, won the Premier League title, as you have done. With that in mind, how important is it for you to deliver the Champions League here, for you to stand out from them and elevate the club to the level that everyone here feels it should be at after all the investment that's been made?
I said again many times, honestly, so all the clubs that are in the group stages, in the last 16, the last 8, 14, want to win this title. It's so nice. Put in perspective, is wow, it's another step, but it's difficult. So this competition is judged when you are out for a last 16. It's a big disaster. It's a big failure. My perspective, my approach is completely different. So it's a big success being there for the teams who's win this season, the next season in the Champions League will be a big success for this season. We are closer, Liverpool and ourselves, we are so close to do that. When you go through to the group stage, it's incredible success, my point of view. For the people say, no, it's normal, it's easy. But few teams, or important teams, and every season is more difficult, go through group stages, every season will be more difficult. And imagine to go the last 8 best teams in Europe. Go in this stage, another one is an incredible success. I approach these competitions in that way, to try to do good games and go through. And after, it depends on the performance. I will judge our pass from this competition. That is my point of view. But of course, we want to win it. But the teams were out in the group stage on the last 16 on this kind. Also, they had that desire. Everyone do it, but just once. So, and if you don't win next season, try to do it.
But this is the one trophy that the club hasn't won, and it's the one that everybody here wants to win. So can you understand from that perspective why there's more focus and in a way more pressure to deliver this trophy?
No, I don't feel this kind of pressure. Also, PSG won this pressure. Always Chelsea, long time ago, working that for and spent a lot of time to win it. And so, yeah, everybody won it, but don't put more pressure. My pressure is do it a good job and try to do it and compete better in 85s and quarterfinals, improve the mistakes for the past in that competition, to reduce our mistakes. It's a competition like punish you a lot your own mistakes, especially for the quality of the opponents. Because you won't play one game in domestic game is another game is another game. This competition is not another game. It's a special game. It's something like the players do something unique and the focus are incredible. And when you make something wrong, they do it. So try to do it and try to, they did 2 shots on target, Schalke, and they scored 2 goals. So that is the best definition from that, and we played 23 minutes and 10 against 11 when we could avoid that second yellow card from Nico. We could avoid it because it was far away, the player is behind, he's not attacking you, and that competition dictated you go through or you go out. And I said it before, we are lucky. We are lucky today. We are here in a 2-3 up and could be maybe 3-1 down or 4-1 down. So that is the reality in that competition. That's why it's work to do, be calm and focus what we have to be tactically, mentally to win that game.
Hi Pep, James Robson from The Standard. Were you relieved last week to see Real Madrid go out?
What the people think about, because Real Madrid is not there, this competition will be easy, is because they still don't understand what is this competition. In fact, of course, it's the last incredible 4 times winner in 5 years and 3 in a row. So in Europe, it's not the best team in this competition, it's the best team in the last decade. So it's incredible what they have done. And the people say, oh, they are not there. And after we have, of course, I thought they are the favorites because if they are able to win 3, they can do it 4, but it still remains in incredible clubs, so incredible teams, so to beat them. And hopefully we can be in quarterfinals, and after when we see if we could be there, so I think the teams will be there, will be quite similar level like Real Madrid because they are top.
And this competition is obviously it's been really important to you as a player and as a manager, as Dave was saying, is to this club as well. But the fans will probably boo the anthem again tomorrow. They do all the time, and obviously after the UEFA investigations, even more so. Do you have a message to the fans? Because you saw at Anfield last season the effect that the crowd can have on these sort of big occasions.
Yeah, but I think the last time is less boo about this kind of situation. I think that my feeling is now the people, maybe I'm wrong, but I start enjoying this competition. They're feeling like not just the Premier League, and they're feeling like we can do it. So together. So that's competition. I'm pretty sure. Alone we cannot do it. We cannot go through. We cannot make a good performance every time when we feel, for example, Liverpool this season and in the Premier League, or even last season the Champions League against Liverpool, we were with them. So that is what we want. That is what we want.
Hi Pep, Paul Hurst from The Times. Schalke have lost their last 3 matches since they played you. Have you still been able to find any kind of areas of danger that they could pose in watching those 3 matches?
But that is when I think my message in that competition, when I realized the last 1 month or 2 months we were better than them. So we played better. In terms of result, we were better. We cannot deny it. I think my colleague cannot deny it. But it's one game. It's completely different. In one situation, and scoring imagine scoring 1 goal in the 5 minutes and red card. You know, bad decision in the 18-yard box, penalty, red card, or something like that, and score a goal. So everything is open. So that's why it has to be focused, because when we're judging about what happened in the last fixtures, okay, we're favorites, we're better, but it's one game and everything can happen. We saw it last week, really. before the game, few people can expect, you know. United show his incredible character, personality, 10 injured players. Nobody expect, you know, the PSG all focus the season for that game. They have, I don't know, 20 points in front of in their own league. So nobody expect. Madrid the same. So 1-2 in Ajax, young players. Of course, a lot of history in Ajax, but the young team go to Madrid, and what happened? So it's the same, like the same example today. So that's why it's not to think too much and anticipate it. What would happen if we were through or we were out? So what we have to do, that is the best way.
Hi Pep, Ben from Sky. In these press conferences, you often talk to us about the history of clubs in particular and having to compete with Barcelona's and Liverpool's and where you're coming from as a Manchester City manager. I just wondered, for Manchester City to effectively get a similar history, what does the Champions League trophy kind of, is that the doorway to being spoken about, you viewing City as being in the same conversation as those kind of clubs?
Well, we could win, of course, and we'll make another step, but you said numbers that you need 20, 30 years to try to...
Is it just numbers then, not, you know, the silverware itself?
Of course, we cannot deny it. You arrive in the last stages for this competition. We will be able to make another pass or step forward. That I cannot deny that. But I think to compare with that kind of teams that you name, one silver don't change it. Believe me, don't change it. We are teenagers in that competition. That is my feeling. That is what I feel. So it's not excuses. Of course, we want to win it. We push ourselves to, guys, we'll be not good. Don't go through and go the last. We won. The best way is to feel this kind of pressure. I think to arrive in the last stages is not to think nothing happen if we don't win because this club don't have history in the past. That is not the way. You have to dream. You have to point as high as possible. But in the same time, you have to accept there are another team thinking the same with a lot of quality, with a lot of talent. And the English team right now, United and Tottenham are there, and we cannot deny how strong they are, you know. But of course, in 90 minutes or 180 minutes, everything can happen. And of course, we want to compete against them. What we want is to face them. So we spoke many times with the players. So you have to have the desire to compete with the best teams in Europe about how is our level. If we can face them. And that is the competition show it for itself. And that is what we do.
Hello, Pep. On the last press conference on Saturday, it was you talked about your contract and you said that you're going to stay here for 2 years, maybe one more, you said. Today there has been suggested on the English media that you have told to your people that you could stay here in England for the next 4 years until 2023. So what's your take on that?
They have more info than me, than myself. So, like that, I have 2 more years and that's all. So, but if the people say I already spoke, and it's the same question. So many infos that are not true, but I cannot come here and deny everything or comment everything, every new they are there. I would like to be more serious at that or receive more serious about the infos, but I cannot say anything else. So I have 2 more years. I will be here, and hopefully, and the future, I don't know. Okay?
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Nice.
Thank you.